prepared. And I think what's happened now is in the last year, we've started to flush out all the people who came into it who thought it was going to be easy. And now we're down to people who are more seriously into making good shows. I think for a long time, what's hurt the podcasting is, to be honest, bad shows with bad sounds, shows that just weren't well produced. And people would listen to podcasts. And if that's the first couple they listened to and they were terrible, they're not coming back. Right. So they're not going to be listening to any podcast, and we've lost them. So I think what's happened now in the last year is listeners have become more educated. They're not putting up with as much crap as they did before. They want good sound. They want a good show, and they're not hanging around for the not good shows. And so the listeners have gotten more educated. And I think that's the big change, is the change in the listeners. And that didn't happen before, because when listeners came on before, they were looking for kind of the raw and nitty gritty and the three guys with beer in the basement. And I think that's changed. They're not looking for that as much anymore, because there's so many good, well-produced shows out there now. There weren't back when we started. It was just us doing our thing. But that's changed. It was more of an art scene back then. Now it's becoming more professional. And I think that's where it's going. I think if you want to stand out in podcasting today, you got to do a good show. Your sound has to be good. It has to be well produced. It has to be well thought out. You guys write articles. Look at the magazines behind you, Kate. And I'm sure you've written articles for every one of those, and that's why they're on your wall. But you didn't just sit down and write the article with no prep or no research. And yet people think they can do a podcast that way. Well, you can. It's just going to be crap, and nobody's going to listen, and you're going to be done. So you've got to think about doing a good show. And then the other thing is, you have to think about marketing it. That's the other thing. So many people started podcasts thinking people would just magically show up. Well, guess what? They don't.
So you actually have to put in work to let people know it's there.
You have to promote it. Right.
Shocking.
To more than just your mom, and your family, because they won't listen to your show. They don't care.